Get ready, set, and go! Phase 5 of Marvel Cinematic Universe has already begun. If you don't know about the trend, then what rock have you been under? It started officially with the release of the Quantomania movie and will extend until the end of 2024 with up to 12 projects. But we'll only discuss the most important 2 right here, so stick around. Soon enough, the Secret Invasion series will also be released starring Nick Fury alongside the Skrull. Spoiler alert, the Skrull will infiltrate government institutions and may overthrow the government, hence the Secret Invasion title. This is probably where Val comes in as a new CIA director. Remember her from Hawkeye and the Falcon series? She was actively involved in recruiting super soldiers for a yet-to-be-disclosed mission. The idea is that Nick will wrestle the government back from the Skrull, and thus kick off the Phase 5 storyline properly. In that mix, we have a new Red Hulk as well, and believe it or not, he becomes president. This Red Hulk is actually General Ross. Remember, he was the Secretary of State in the Civil War movie, so now he is the president in Phase 5. But we always knew Valentina showed an inclination for being shady in the manner in which she carried herself and the character she was actively picking for her future team. By the way, that team is supposed to be called Thunderbolts, while Val has since become the new CIA director, and between General Ross and Val, there's plenty of anti-hero stuff going on. You might also want to know how General Ross became the Red Hulk. He actually stole the stuff from Bruce Banner. And here's what Ross and Val are ultimately after: vibranium to power their pet project. Hints of this nefarious plan were dropped in the Wakanda Forever movie. It's why Namor and his followers were fighting. Of course, they reconciled in the end and formed an alliance in the lead up to facing the now corrupt American government. By the way, General Ross is played by Harrison Ford. William Hurt, who was the original Ross, died recently. The Red Hulk will first appear in Captain America 4, subtitled New World Order. Let's analyze that title for a bit. There was the snap in the 5 years prior where everything fell apart. Iron Man, who was the leader of the Avengers, is dead. Captain America has also become older due to time travel. Nick Fury is on holiday in space, so there are no real candidates to lead the effort to protect life as we know it. Sure, there are heroes everywhere, but there is simply no concerted and well-constituted group. All we have left is an ambitious Valentina and General Ross who are bent on doing whatever it takes to fill the vacuum. And it starts with invading Wakanda for vibranium. There's also a rumor that Phase 5 is where adamantium is discovered, or rather created, as an alternative to vibranium. But apparently they're not the same, hence the desperation of Val and General Ross, and by extension, the shady American government they represent. General Ross is also known by the pseudonym Thunderbolt. We also mentioned that he will become the Hulk at some point in Phase 5, maybe even earlier, but I bet you didn't know that the group Valentina is creating will also be known as the Thunderbolts. They sort of represent a revamped Avengers, and they comprise the following characters: the Winter Soldier, or Buck, Yelena, who is the Black Widow's sister, Red Guardian, who was their father, John Walker, the disgraced Captain America, Taskmaster, Ghost, and perhaps Zemo as the new CIA director. Valentina answers to President Thunderbolt Ross, hence the name of the group. Yeah, we know that explanation sounds corny. The Thunderbolts are essentially a group of anti-heroes, much like DC's Suicide Squad. It will help the American government procure, or rather steal, some vibranium. From the Wakanda Forever movie, we know that some vibranium can be found under the sea too, in Namor's turf. Whether the Thunderbolts will go for the undersea vibranium or infiltrate Wakanda is left to be imagined. But the Thunderbolts movie will be released in July 2024 and will mark the conclusion of Phase 5 of the MCU. Now a little bit about the Red Hulk. This variant of the Hulk came about when General Ross siphoned some of Bruce Banner's gamma radiation. It reminds us of how the Abomination came to be in the very first MCU Hulk movie starring Edward Norton. The fact that General Ross has always wanted Bruce Banner's powers raises a lot of questions, and it seems we never really knew him. This is the same guy who drove a hedge between the Avengers in the name of superhero ethics. Or perhaps he was only playing the game of politics. Whatever the case, this same questionable guy is now the president. Think about it, a dubious Hulk is now the president in the MCU. Will he openly reveal his identity or secretly carry out missions with Valentina's team, which is named after him? On a lighter note, what sort of president will he be? Will he ever have enough downtime to do anti-hero stuff? I guess we can only wait and see. He will make his first MCU appearance in Captain America 4, subtitled New World Order. With all these hints put together, he's probably more like the Red Skull and Hydra who tried to overtake the world earlier. And it's funny that they're both red. But what are Valentina's actual ambitions? She has been known to tell no one other than General Ross that she dreams of America controlling all the vibranium in the world. It's probably why she is the CIA's top pick for Ross. There's also the Easter egg that the anonymous professor in Wakanda forever represents. Remember the same professor dared Riri or Ironheart to build a vibranium detector? She was subsequently visited by Okoye and Shuri at her dorm room. So the plotline has been set up nicely for the new Captain America movie. It will probably pan out as the corrupt US government, represented by Val and Ross, needing vibranium to build a so-called New World Order. Will there be a full-blown invasion of Wakanda? That would never be allowed by the UN and would amount to genocide on part of the US. This is the reason Val is recruiting super soldiers. And given what the few foot soldiers of Namor were able to achieve once they breached Wakanda, the Thunderbolts may stand a good chance. Also, the anonymous professor may turn out to be the main villain in Captain America 4, just like the guy who Eric was dealing with in one of the Wakanda movies. Eric is the guy who sought revenge against the Black Panther. On the other hand, this professor seeks the vibranium detector just so he can sell it to the US government. There are clues that the professor is actually an old enemy of the Hulk known as the Leader. He too was accidentally irradiated by gamma rays. He was only a janitor at the time in the same lab Bruce Banner worked. He soon turned green permanently and developed a big and swollen brain, suggesting a high level of intelligence. In the past, he was played by Tim Blake Nelson. The Leader is also a part of a group of villains known as Intelligentsia that includes MODOK. They are bent on world domination, but perhaps their egos won't allow them to share the spoils. And as always, he might have a more intricate plan than simply selling a vibranium detector to the US. This leads us to introducing the Thunderbolts. We've already been shown in certain post-credit scenes how Yelena and John Walker were recruited. Val, whose full name is La Contessa Valentina Allegra de la Fontaine, is a noblewoman of Italian descent. She has worked her way through the ranks to become a major player in hero politics. She is also an associate and contemporary of Nick Fury. Obviously, she likes her super soldier candidates to be shady. This makes her the polar opposite of the more honorable Nick Fury. Her first two conscripts are in the bag so far. Others might be introduced in the Secret Wars and the New World Order movies. On her wish list, she has Buck and Taskmaster. There's also a ghost from the Ant-Man and the Wasp movie, as well as the Russian super soldier Red Guardian. She must really be desperate for the vibranium to the extent of reaching out to a Russian. There's also the dynamic between Red Guardian and his daughter, Yelena, to watch out for. There are even rumors that Zemo, the bitter Sokovian, would join the Thunderbolts team, and we're not too sure what his contribution will be. We've all seen the first movie in the Phase 5 rollout. That was the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantomania movie. Next on the roster are the Secret Wars, where some evil Skrulls infiltrate the governments of the world. We know the Skrulls can shapeshift and look like anyone. As expected, the ever-vigilant Nick Fury will figure them out before it gets out of hand. A Skrull impersonating Valentina would make the mistake of approaching him, thus outing the plan prematurely, and so the story gets rolling. The Secret Invasion series will be more of a political drama that sets the background for the rest of Phase 5. Ultimately, the bad Skrulls are eliminated, and Ross kicks Nick Fury aside and takes credit for their elimination. This is how he is able to win the presidency. Can we hear you say, "bad president" already? And enemy number one switches from Russia to Wakanda because they refuse to help fix the world after the snap. On the flip side, the Falcon fully assumes the role of Captain America in the New World Order movie, and we expect he will do well enough as a leader going forward. If you have reached this far, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and press the notification bell so that you may not miss any future updates. See you in another video. Until then, take care. Do tell us your views in the comments section.